to email each principal of the 16 schools, and then that one person can distribute it out to whomever. Okay, enough of me. Mike?
Thanks, Kurt. I'm hoping on after a little after 2:30 on Tuesday that everyone has made contact with the sales manager for the property that they're staying at. I know 7 of the 16 schools are at the Holiday Inn, and there are 4 other properties as well. I know at least one school that is not going to be staying, so those rooms are freed up. We, through the IHSA, identified the need for 15 rooms per school, and I had asked properties, if possible, to add, if there are rooms. And so I don't know, I have not heard any issues so far. Maybe I'll hear some on this call that I'm unaware of. But we made a concerted effort to really inform our properties exactly the situation with the teams. I know usually when they reserve room blocks, they are not filled 2 days before or 1 day before that they check in. And so we made extra sure that they understood the parameters there. And as Kurt mentioned, each of you is assigned a team host. I know that you are working through some practice plans. There are at least 6, maybe 7 sites that have agreed to host practices if you need them. And we're asking you to work through team hosts to arrange those practices. So in addition to the lodging, we have secured a police escort, if you'd like one, through the University of Illinois Police Department, including a motorcycle cade, if you will, from your hotel to State Farm Center. And again, we ask you to work through the host for those details. They have tentatively set up times. Those times that they set up may or may not work for you as a team. I know we've heard from a team or 2 that that plays the late game of a session, and they want to get there in time to watch the first game of the session. So it may or may not be an option, and hopefully we can work something out with the U of I PD. This is the first time that we've done this. So I just would invite my numbers there. I'll give you my cell, and I think it was on the letter as well. My cell is 217-898-3519. If you have any issues regarding community, team hosts, lodging, anything else, any feedback from a community standpoint, we want to hear them. This is our first year hosting in 27 years, and I'm sure there'll be some things that we'll learn throughout the weekend. And so we want to try to get as much feedback as we can, positively or negatively, that will help us going forward in hosting in years to come.
Thanks,
I'll
Mike.
entertain if you have any specific questions or issues, let me know. Happy to answer them.
Question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Tom Kleinsman from DePaul Prep. Thanks for all your work on this. I know it must be very hectic, but I really appreciate it. I just a quick question: how far is the Holiday Inn from the stadium? You're on mute,
Mike. You're muted again, bud.
Sorry, the Holiday Inn, for if the weather is fine, is really within walking distance. It's
great.
3/10 of a mile to the State Farm Center, right across Neal Street. So, that's a property that, especially as fans, they should be able to walk from Holiday Inn to State Farm Center.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mike, Chris Cassidy at Whitney Young. What is the hotel that had the 15 rooms that were not being used?
I know the Comfort Suites was a property that has had a team. They have 2 teams there. One team is not using that, and so there are rooms there. And the Comfort Suites is on Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Maybe you can put that in the chat, or you know what? I'll do that, Mike. No problem.
Okay.
What street did you say, sir?
It's on Lincoln Avenue
Lincoln
in
Avenue.
Urbana.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. Other
And all our
question?
properties are within about a 10-minute drive to State Farm Center. We chose properties specifically that would be an easy drive. There's a few of those that are the Home 2 Suites and the Holiday Inn that if you so chose, you could certainly walk to the arena from there, and there are plenty of food options. But the other properties, the Hyatt Place is downtown Champaign, which is a unique, I think, location for many of you, and there are plenty of dining options within walking distance of that property as well.
Any other questions for Mike? Mike, we do appreciate all your help. I know it's
Sure.
a lot of planning went into this, and you certainly showed a thoroughness and attention to detail. So I hope that everything goes smoothly for the schools with their properties. But thank you.
Hopefully you've also been in contact with your team host today to work out those sort of details. And so that's another good avenue to get information to me if you've got anything that comes up over the next few days.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other questions on that? I see a hand up. I don't want to move on if somebody's got a question.
I don't know. I don't know if this has been answered about the ticket. So if it hasn't been, if you guys are not there yet, then I can wait.
Okay, we're about to, ironically, Dr. Harper, we're about to jump into that.
Okay.
So let's talk for a minute about tickets. Always one of the hardest parts of the event, I'm sure not only in your school, but from our perspective, and we've tried a number of different approaches with tickets over the years. But the thing we want to emphasize is tickets are necessary to have a seat in the arena. All seats at the State Farm Center will be reserved. And there's no pass list, at the state finals. The credentials we'll talk about in a little bit really just provide added access to parts of the arena. In working with the State Farm Center, we tried to accomplish a few things with the tickets. We wanted to make sure, if possible, that we had the opportunity for the schools to have students down on the floor. We know the student sections are very popular. We had done that in the last handful of years in Peoria. We wanted to see if that could continue. And using this University of Illinois student section, the Orange Crush area, we're able to do that. So we provided in the box, a super sectional box, 78 tickets. Each school in each session will have 78 seats that they can sell to students in their student body. I wish there were more. We're going to process everything after this year's over and see if there's another way to do this. But right now you've got 78 seats for students for both games that your school will play. Whether that first game's on Thursday or Friday, and whether the second game's on Thursday or Friday. Once the box office knows what your school's second game will be, they're going to turn on they're going to, within their ticketing system, make that ticket valid for whatever session it should fit into. We also have been trying to find ways to allow you to bring some of your other fans down closer to the action. So in the assembly hall, there's the floor level, which you've got tickets for the students, as I just mentioned. There's a lower bowl, the 100 level seats, and then there's a bigger bowl, the 200 level seats. We've made 46 seats available to every school in each session. So the session you're playing in, you've got 46 tickets that you can sell in the lower bowl to fans, however you want to do that. And then there's nearly 700 seats in the 200 section. And the box office put together codes that you can share with your fans so the tickets can be bought digitally through the State Farm Center box office. If you have fans that want to just come to the arena and buy a ticket through the box office, they can do that. And if they want to be in a certain section, they can say, hey, I'm with this school. And if all those that we made available through our codes are sold out, they can find something close to that. So you've got different options there for your fans. But let's go on to the next slide, and then I'll take questions there. We did mention, or I know we mentioned this earlier in the pre-planning video, but we need you to reconcile those student section tickets um, prior to your school's first game. Now the tickets there's sort of a tiered setup for pricing, and we tried to do that because you've got a chance to offer tickets in a variety of spaces closer to the floor. The tickets are a little higher in price than the ones in the 200 section. And we really were thinking and hoping that the use of electronic tickets, digital tickets, would make things easier for you. One piece of comment that we received a number of times over the years is just the challenge in dealing with all kinds of hard tickets in a limited amount of time, and then trying to get back down to a box office and get those reconciled. So I hope this hasn't caused too much consternation for you. And I would also say the box office is willing, if you call down there, to set up limits on how many tickets a person can buy in a purchase with those codes. So if that's given you also a little challenge, you can contact the box office. And I think the numbers are on the letters that were inside that envelope with tickets. You could handle that by calling them and putting those limits on. How about any questions? Oh, I know one more. Well, I'll save that for after questions. Any questions on tickets that I can help with?
I don't think I have a question. I have more of a comment. This is Joyce Kenner,
Hi,
Whitney
Dr.
Young. Hi to everybody. And I had talked to Mr. Gibson earlier today, and it's really has caused a problem here at Whitney Young, trying to identify those 78 students when we could have up to 700 or 800 students coming to the game if we can find these buses. So I'm saying all this for maybe next year, the students all need to sit together, and it's more of a controllable situation for me. Whereas if I have to go down to the Orange Crest section, try to control those students, then go up to the 200 section, trying to control those students, it becomes too much of a problem for us. Second thing, we would have liked the physical tickets rather than trying to go online to purchase tickets, because what's going to happen with us is we're going to have some adults purchasing tickets in the student section in section 200. They're going to be mad because the students are standing up, they can't see, and all those kinds of things. And so I just hope that you guys will rethink this distribution of tickets, because for us it's not working out.
Thank you. Yeah, well, as I mentioned, we're going to review, we're going to review all our processes from year one and see what worked and revamp what doesn't. Hand up, Trista.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to know, so do the admin as well have to have a ticket in their hand as well? And is there a section for us, or is that just
No, you'll need to have a ticket. Mm-hmm.
the people that run the building? They need to just.
Yeah, so what we're going to do one of the points that Dr. Kenner made a second ago about supervising the students in the Orange Crush, one thing that we're going to add into the administrative packet, which you'll be able to pick up at will call, there'll be 3, as the terms and conditions call for, 3 administrative passes in there. We're also going to add 2 wristbands that if you've got some teachers or deans that are coming along and can help you, you can give them one of the wristbands that they can wear for the tournament. Don't let them take it off. I guess if they do take it off, you're going to have to contact me and we'll see about getting another one. But the wristbands will allow those 2 individuals to come down to the floor and monitor the students that are in those 78 Orange Crush student seats. And then that way, maybe the other administrators can be up above or wherever, or you can flip it. If those with the credentials want to come down to the floor, they can. And those with the wristbands can at least be identified by your students as people to, listen to. But yes, to go back to your question then, Trista, you'll need a ticket in order to have a seat for the games.
So but you just said the admin package. I don't need one of the 78 tickets, but the admin packet, isn't that the ticket, or that's not the ticket?
No, that's just a credential that'll get you down on the floor. For awards, or if we had something we had to talk to you about under the arena away from everybody, we can get you where we need you to be. Okay,
Got it.
all right. I'm gonna move on. I sent to
Kurt,
folks.
oh, sorry.
That's okay, sure, I'll wait.
Hey,
Question.
we've been trying, we got our code and we're using that. And I've had multiple fans now text me, because that's my life, obviously, that this code is not working and it's stalling and they're not able to get in. Is anybody else finding that at their school? I was hoping it was user error on our end. I was able to get on and purchase the tickets that I needed, and those 46 tickets that our school got, we kind of did that ourselves. So I did not have any problems. But do you know if anybody, like, I've even had a fan call the ticket office and they're looking into it.
Yeah,
We
I think
found,
that's,
this is Ron, Keystone Principal at Metamora. We found that if we did a direct link, or we did a hyperlink to the promo code page from the box office, that would just spin. But if you go to where the icon of the State Farm Center is, you click that, it gets you right in. So that's what we found.
That's what I did. I gave them the State Farm link, and then I gave them instructions to go to the promo code and what the promo code was. So I didn't even give them, I gave them just a straight State Farm link. Is that what you're saying works better?
Yes, if you just give them the link to the page prior to the promo code page, they are
so that
able,
way when they're asked for the promo code, they just enter that.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so when they're so you want me to give them the link that links to the promo, where they put the promo code in?
That's where it'll spin.
No, that's where it'll spin. Give them the page before that, where they have to click on the graphic, the State Farm Center graphic. That
Yeah.
page.
So
yeah.
So did you go ahead and give them the buy tickets?
No.
Yeah, because that'll take you.
Take
you the wrong link.
Yeah, that'll take you the wrong. I gave them. I just said, when you get to that next page, I just gave them directions. When you get to the next page, type in the promo code, put it in the box. So I just gave them instructions to do that.
That's what I did. But like right now, I tried to go to that buy tickets and it's just spinning.
Because everybody's buying.
It might just because of people buying the volume. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wish I had an answer for you, Alicia, as well. My instincts tell me what Ron said is probably what's happening right now. It's the first I'm hearing about this today, and I talked with the box office earlier, and they didn't indicate any kind of an issue like this, but that was probably 2 hours ago. So some could have developed in that time frame. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the medical coverage now that's going to be provided this weekend. Carl Sports Medicine will be on site. They'll be there an hour before the start of each day. Play begins, and then they'll be there throughout the day. And there will be a physician and a certified athletic trainer during the day at all times, as well as an ambulance. Sorry about that, on site. You can still request, and a number of you have, and we're getting those credentials prepared right now for your medical practitioner or athletic trainer who works with your team. Those will be available at will call. And so your trainer or team doctor can go to will call. The credential will be under their name. They can show identification and then make their way down to the arena. We'll get them in the locker room with the team for the games. And I think most of you have somebody, there's only a handful, small number that don't, but there's still medical coverage. People there to tape ankles or look at somebody if they get hurt or whatever, that'll be on site. The Carl team will work with your medical practitioners. If there is a situation where somebody's got a possible head injury, the Carl folks have the final say, but they're going to work with your team, in making that decision. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about some things in the special instructions bulletin. And the first one that I want to talk about is the team list. And I know a number of your schools have sent these in already. Those that haven't, we're looking for that by noon tomorrow. We're trying to run a safe event, an event that follows the terms and conditions. And the terms allow for schools to have 22 people I never know the right way to say this, in their group with their team. It's really, because it's going to be more than the roster. The roster is just the players, but it's the list of coaches who have met all IHSA requirements, all your players. In many cases, that takes people to 22. That's the limit. But if it doesn't take your school to 22 and you've got other high school students who are serving as managers that have been with the team, then, they can be included. And that's why we've got a third column for other. But if you're marking some people in other, you need to assure us, and we'll ask you to make sure that they're high school age students. But if you've got too many, and I don't want to say too many coaches, but if you've got so many coaches and players that you get to 22, and I think in some cases, based on some preliminary math that we've done looking through the data you've submitted already, some schools may be over 22 with just coaches and players. You're going to have to make some decisions about who gets to be with the team, come in through the security entrance, will be in the locker room, will be on the bench, etc. But we're looking for this list by noon tomorrow, and if we can get it, then we'll be able to create your award sheet and take that off your plate as well. When your teams are coming to play in the session, when they come for the session in which they're playing, we want them to enter through the east tunnel, and we're going to see where that is here in just a second. That's where the security entrance is. If they're going to come over during another session to watch games, that's great. They can come through the northeast media pass entrance. The media has an entrance for those that have credentials, and we can see both of those here on this map. Off of 4th Street, you can see in that yellowish circle, that's where your bus will have to come in and take the team down into the tunnel to the base of that and drop the players and coaches off. You can either back in or you can go down in straight, but if you go down in straight, you're going to have to back the bus up coming out. So just make sure your bus driver is aware of that. Though the staff will then be able to direct them where to go. I think we've included some previous information about where the bus can go. We'd also like the cheerleaders to come in this way through that team entrance down in the tunnel. But that's, again, just in those sessions where your school's going to participate.
That's for my host.
And if your team's going to come watch and they come.
You didn't hear anything. I'm waiting on a call from administrator department.
Well, Patrick said.
Beth, do you mind muting everybody? I'm trying to figure that out here and I'm talking at the same time. If your team wants to come over though, and they haven't played yet, then have them still come down through the east tunnel. The first time they come to the arena, whenever that is, day they're playing or when they're first going to be in their session, have them come to that east tunnel entrance, that security entrance. We'll check them in. And then if they're going to just watch games for a while, there's a section up in the 200 level where those folks can go and watch the games, cheerleaders or players. And when they're coming in during the session, they're not playing, you can see where that northeast entrance is. You can come down, it's very well marked, just come right down the steps and you can get in there to the arena and make your way to section 215. So any questions about entry, how we want the folks coming in?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I should have.
Okay.
Just real quick, and I may have missed it. I'm just wondering, who do we make the check out to? Do we make the check out to IHSA or make it out to?
Nope. State Farm Center box office. Yep. It should be on that that one-page document that was in the ticketing envelope.
Oh, I see. Right.
No ticket but no checks made out to IHSA. Mike, did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate, and Beth and I had talked about this earlier today, that we're asking teams, if possible, to tell their team hosts when they're on their way to the arena for the first time, so that we can be ready for them to pick up their credentials. They don't need to do that every time that they come to the arena, but for sure for the first time, so that that we're ready to distribute the credentials. And we're hoping that team host then will contact Beth so that we can so she can be aware that they're on their way.
Thanks, Mike.
Kurt, I had a question if I could. This is Jared Hart from Metamora. Some of the schools had mentioned they're short on buses we're short on bus drivers, like school bus drivers. So I may actually be driving one of our buses.
Okay.
In fact, our player bus. Is there the ability to, when we arrive, to park a player bus in that east tunnel, or does the bus, after it's unloaded, have to be moved off to a remote parking lot and then walked back to the facility?
I don't think they're asking you to go. Yes, let me answer that. Yes, you have to get out of the tunnel, but you're not being asked to go to a remote place. They're either going to park you in one of the other lots that are adjacent to the arena, or in that there's a circular drive on that east side with a little cutoff. I'll go back here where they are going to be able to store buses. Sort of just below where that yellow circle is, orangish circle, yellowish circle. So they've got a few options where the buses can go.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we talked briefly about the credentials. Just to expand on that a little bit, they provide access within the arena. We've talked about the 22 that will be for those on your team list. Those will be distributed upon your team's first arrival at the State Farm Center. There will be 3 for school administration. Those will be at the will call window. Someone with identification can pick those up. You should have already received the 14 credentials we have for the cheerleaders. There's 12 for cheerleaders, 1 if you have a mascot in a costume, and 1 for your coach. And for some of you that were there's a couple of us were on the call before everybody jumped on at 2:30. Somebody asked about where they'll be. They'll be nearest your bench. They'll be just behind the baseline a little bit, a little deeper than they've been in the past. They'll be able to stand. They don't have to be kneeling. And we'll find a place for the coach to be during that time as well. Okay? Whether that's in a chair or something else, we'll find a place so that the coach can stay close to them. If you have more than 12 cheerleaders, the cheerleaders beyond 12 will have to have a ticket. They can come sit in the arena where their ticket would have them, and you can change somebody out at halftime. You'll just have the girls who are, or the cheerleaders, I should say, who are going to no longer cheer, can make their way up into the stands, and they can swap out their credential, and the ones coming in to cheer will be able to come down to the floor. And then those girls that come in halfway through can leave with the cheerleading team when the game's over. A couple of questions there.
I just have a question. We looked up the State Farm Center. I don't know if Joyce Kenner did the same thing, Dr. Kenner, but they're not a vendor with us to write a check. So I'm just trying to figure that part out.
Yeah, I don't know how she did, but you can have.
Yeah, maybe you guys can connect on that offline. I'm not sure either. Another question? No? Okay.
Kurt,
And then the final
Kurt,
credential, which we've
Kurt,
talked
I do have a
about.
question.
Okay.
If I could,
Yeah.
apologize, I couldn't get to my mute button fast enough. If we do not have a mascot, can that pass be repurposed for a 13th cheerleader, or is it just 12, one coach, and if no mascot,
Yeah.
nobody else?
Then you're still limited to 12. You can't repurpose it for a 13th. Good question.
Thank you.
Yep. And then the pass for the the certified trainer or the medical practitioner can also be at will call. If there's any problem with the name that your school submitted to us, we'll be in touch with you tomorrow on that.
Hey, Kurt.
Yeah.
You put on the PowerPoint, individual will be checked for the athletic trainer for proper licensure. Is there a database that you guys look that up, or do they need to actually bring?
Nope, we've got people looking that up.
Got it. Okay.
Good question. Yeah, and like I said, if there's any kind of a concern, we'll get up with you. Could be something as simple as a name. Somebody used William instead of Bill. We can look it up that way. But yeah, we'll check that and let you know if we have any issues.
Kurt, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you can go back one.
Mhm.
Sorry. Pat Mahoney from DePaul College Prep.
Hi, Pat.
Hi, Kurt. So, just that 3 school administration passes, I thought I heard you earlier say those people need a ticket too, or is that?
If they want to have a seat, they'll need a ticket. The
But
credential just allows
But
access.
But this will give them entrance into the arena. Like they don't, you know what I'm saying? Do they?
No, they'll need a ticket to get into the arena.
Okay, so as the athletic director, I need a ticket and then I go pick that up as well.
That credential, yeah. You'll need that to be able to get out down on the floor for awards.
Huh. All right.
Okay, cheerleaders then. There will be space when the cheerleaders come in. There'll be a room for them to leave their bags and do their stretching or whatever. You'll want to make sure that I think we'll make sure that those doors get locked. Our staff will be helping them get from that space onto the floor. And we talked about the cheerleaders coming through the team security entrance. And then if you have more, you can change them out at halftime. If you're going to do that, maybe let myself know. I'll make sure our team knows just in case we can offer any assistance during that time. We'll be happy to do so. Questions with cheerleading? All right, real quick on timing, and then Matt Troja is going to talk about some things specific to coaches in terms of media obligations. We've provided a copy of the timing schedule to you in a couple of different places. This in the super sectional box. It's available in the online state final packet. But just a few important reminders. Teams will be allowed their normal allotment of timeouts, so 3 full and 2 30-second timeouts per game. There will be a media timeout each quarter, and that will occur at the first dead ball at or under the 4-minute mark of each quarter. And we would point out that the media timeout and the breaks between quarters are going to be a little longer than normal. And it's very common because they're longer. The teams want to break the huddle quickly. We're going to be telling the officials to keep everybody in the huddles until the first horn sounds, and then we'll be bringing them out. So coaches, anything you can do to just know you're going to have some time to let the guys get to the bench, get some water. You and your assistants can talk about a few things. You don't have to dive right into the action. For the media timeout and between quarter breaks, any other timeout that's called will be its normal time length. Okay? Any other timeout that's called. Just the media timeout and the between quarter breaks are longer. The halftime break is a little longer. It's 12 minutes in length. The locker rooms have clocks in them, so things are synced, so people know where we are during timeouts or in pregame situations. We're going to help bring you out on the court on time, but I would really spend a few minutes looking through that time schedule so that you're comfortable with it. And if you have questions, you can reach out to me with those. I'm going to let Matt now Troja, who coordinates our media efforts, step in here and talk to you a little bit about coach responsibilities, and then we can handle media questions after that.
Thanks, Kurt. Couple quick things from my perspective. First off, I just wanted to thank the athletic directors and the coaches. I hope all my emails after each victory, those are meant to be a reminder, and I hope they weren't too much of a nuisance. But I appreciate you filling out the stuff we asked you to, and for all the coaches for appearing on those calls today. We hope that alleviates some of the media reaching out to you as well this week, and lets you focus on the game after this. From a TV perspective, if you go on IHSA.org, on the top left-hand side, there's a little IHSA TV link. If you click that, it's got a list of channels and carriers by market who will be carrying the game back home. It will also stream on the NFHS network, so that's an option as well. Specifically in game for coaches, we will have a live stats going, and I will send you a link to that in the event that you or someone on your staff wants to monitor that on a phone or a device in game. I will remind you that it is, as good as our people are, they do make mistakes sometimes, so that is not official. So if you ever have a question about a foul or something like that, you're going to want to go to the official book. When we reach halftime of your game, the sideline reporter for the TV broadcast is going to talk to each coach. They're going to talk to the team the coach that's leading first before they go to the locker room. And then the team that's trailing, they're going to talk to that coach when they come out of the locker room. If we are in a tie game, they will talk to the home coach first and the visiting coach
after they come out of the locker room. When your game ends, every game that you play this weekend, when it finishes, again, the sideline reporter will talk to the winning coach and a player or players of the game on the court shortly after. When that concludes, you're going to have a press conference. I will work to get the winning coach and players to the press conference immediately from essentially from the arena floor to the press conference. I know that's a little unorthodox to what we're used to. But we do have a lot of media outlets that cover multiple games, and the turnaround is quick. So we do like to get the winning team in there as quick as possible and kind of get that done. The team that loses, someone from my staff will give them a piece of paper that lets them know who needs to go to the press conference. You'll have an opportunity to go back to your locker room, talk to your kids for about 10 or 12 minutes. Then my rep will knock on the door, let you know they're ready for us, and guide you there and back. Final two things from my perspective is I do like to confirm pronunciations for rosters. I'd like to leave coaches alone at this point. So I will have an associate, Alex Staub, reaching out to the athletic directors so at some point today or tomorrow to go over those. So if you have any, Mike and Rob went through this last week with me with girls basketball. So if you have anyone you're not unsure of on your roster, maybe find out those pronunciations for them today and relay them to Alex for me if you would. And then finally, you get each school is allotted 3 school media passes that can be used. Essentially, it was meant to be like yearbook, school newspaper, and then one other one. But you have the ability to allocate those to a student or an adult. Simply email me the names of the individuals that you would like to use those, and I will send you instructions some point tomorrow that you can forward on to them. If you include their email address, I will send it directly to them, but we'll let them know how and where they get those passes and their media access. So that's everything I have for you.
We had a question before the meeting, Matt,
Okay.
about the games on the NFHS network. Are they streamed live? Those are not like delayed broadcasts when someone goes to the network.
I mean, it's a live broadcast, but streaming generally has some kind of delay to it. I think it can be as little as 30 seconds, but it could be as much as 5-7 minutes sometimes, depending on the upload speed in and out. So I hope that answered that question for whoever had that. Does anybody have any questions for me before I step aside?
Matt, similar to the administrator question, do the media people that we give you, do they need a ticket as well?
No, the pass will get them in and out, and there'll be some media seating if they need a seat that they can use.
Thank you.
Yep. And I'll also add, you get the 3 passes, and then you actually get 2 more as well if you have people that are shooting scout video for your team that don't already have a participant pass. So that same thing, email me with those. All right. Anything else from me? Again, appreciate everybody's help. Look forward to seeing you down in Champaign, and good luck.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Okay. Just a couple of things here left for us to cover. Did want to talk a little bit about, this with the state finals. The games are televised. We expect proper sportsmanship to be displayed at all times. We've talked to our officials about the importance of making sure that everybody's properly equipped, conducting themselves appropriately. The coaches' boxes will be marked. So we would just, we have no reason to believe that anybody's going to act out, but we would tell you that, our officials are going to be diligent about ensuring everybody's on their best behavior this weekend. And we'll talk a little bit about the home and away uniforms in a second, but the top team on the bracket is the home team. The bottom team will be the away team. The home team wears white. The away team wears their dark colors. As I said, we're going to see, and that's all decided by a blind draw that occurs in December. That has nothing to do with seeds or rankings or anything like that. We always seem to have that question during Postseason, I'd just like to, make sure everybody understands that's done through a blind draw. There will be a sportsmanship handshake prior to each game. We'll try to coach your teams up, but I think we gave you information about that today. When there's a national anthem and the teams are lined up facing the flag across the width of the floor, once the national anthem is over, the teams will walk towards one another, shake hands, and go back to their bench area for warm-ups. When the national anthem isn't played, then after the introductions of the players are done, the teams can line up and do the handshake. I briefly mentioned about awards. We'll be trying to put that award sheet together for you. If you can get us that team list, it'll be real easy. We'll just need to add the superintendent, principal, athletic director, and trainer or medical practitioner, if you have one, to that. I will try to get the administration a copy to review before the game's played when we do awards. But awards will be given out following each game where an award should be given out. So on Thursday night, after the 1A consolation game, Class 1A consolation game, the two teams in that game will be given their medallions and their trophies. We'll play the 2A consolation game, and those teams will be given their medallions and trophies. Do the same thing on Friday, and then Saturday after each championship game, we'll also conduct an awards ceremony. In years past, we've sort of done two sets of award ceremonies at the same time. Now we're doing them simply after the game is ended. Once awards are distributed, we'll ask the teams to take a formal photo on the floor. We'll try to turn people towards their fans. Their fans can take some photos from the bleachers if they'd like. And that's really where we're at with the awards piece to this. I do want to show you what the awards lineup will look like. What we're going to do this year is we're going to line you up in order of your awards form from about center court down to the baseline, right down the middle of the floor. You'll be facing your fans, and the board of directors, when they're distributing the awards, will go down the line, drape, shake, go down the line till it's all completed. And then once both teams have been given their medallions, they'll award the trophies, and we'll get into the picture part of the ceremony. So a little bit different. We won't be asking anybody to walk up to anything. We're going to come to you this year. Okay, I'm going to let you sort of, chew on this slide here for a little bit. This shows what uniform schools will wear for the entire tournament. Again, it's all determined based on bracket placement. Some schools only need one jersey to bring. Others need to bring both their home and away. And I would ask that you email us a picture of your we just need a picture of your jerseys, the front and back. If you only have one jersey that you're going to wear, you only need to send us a picture of the one jersey. If you're wearing two jerseys, then we would like a picture of both of them. We just want to make sure we don't have any uniform issues. Try to work through those if we do before we get to Champaign.
Hey, Kurt.
Yeah.
My team's not on your list.
I know. When they put that together, they wrote down the wrong name. But you're still away and away, if that's any consolation. I'm going to get that changed before I send it. When I send this to you, Alicia, I'll make sure I find a way to put in the right school name. I apologize.
That sounds super.
This is the kind of picture I'm looking for. I know it's not real fancy. I don't have a picture of the back. This was the only picture I could find. I'm not saying this is a legal uniform at all. In fact, it's illegal, but I'm just looking for the jersey being laid down or held up on a hanger, snap it, turn it around, snap it, and send it my way. Okay, finally, last two things, this slide and one more. If you do have a PA announcement, about your team returning home and there's going to be some kind of ceremony, go ahead and get it to me. We'll be happy to make sure our PA announcers read that. I'd probably prefer that you send it to me electronically, but if not, we'll get it figured out and make sure that it gets announced when you're in that award ceremony. We talked a little bit about supervising your student fans, particularly in that Orange Crush area. We're going to have a couple of seats down there, so if you either have the credential or the wristband, you'll be able to get down there to do that. The team seating area, this would also be for cheerleaders, is section 215, and that's when you're not playing. And we saw about media requests can go to Matt. Before I get into my last slide, any questions on this?
Kurt, I have a question real quick. And this is my last year in administration, so I'll go ahead and ask it. Could we look at something maybe going forward with, this is our first year doing this, my athletic director and myself, and we were kind of under the impression until 5 minutes ago that we were going to get passes because we were going to kind of work and help supervise and not have to pay for a ticket. So I'm this not me making any judgment or anything, but maybe something looking forward if, you know, because I'm not going to be sitting up in the stands with my family who's watching the game. I'm going to be down working at it. If we could not have to pay for a ticket.
If you know what, here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to call I'm going to call. You know, I did it. I was trying so hard not to do it. I called it the assembly hall. I started to say assembly and then I stopped. You know, I'm going to call the State Farm Center and let them know that the administrator passes can serve as a point of entry for the weekend. Okay, it's clear that that's an important thing to you folks. So again, though, I'm going to say there is no place for administrators to sit. There's not like an area that we've carved out that says administrator seating. So if you want to have a seat for the games, and some of you might, you'll need a ticket.
Sure.
I guess if you don't need a ticket or you're going to be down, and I'm talking to everybody here, Justin, if you're going to come down and help supervise, awesome. I'm going to let the staff know that those administrative passes will not only get people down to the floor for awards and underneath if we need to talk to you, but also serve as a point of entry into the arena. We're going to make that happen.
Hey, I appreciate that. I really sincerely appreciate you taking the time and listening.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And, you know, that's all good. It's all good. That's gonna be the first call I make here when we're done. And so, does anybody have any questions on that? Your administrator credential will get you into the State Farm Center. You don't have to buy a ticket unless you want to see.
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, and then I'll take more questions. Want to point out that each school playing this weekend will receive a reimbursement for your travel, if you will, from the IHSA. You'll have that check by March 31st. You'll have it by the end of the month. And the amount your school receives is based on this formula that you see here. It's a combination of a flat rate plus mileage. If the round trip mileage, as you can see here, your school makes to the state final site is between 0 and 150 miles, you'll get $2,500, I should say, plus mileage. And mileage is $5 for the first 50 miles of travel and then $3 for each mile over 51. So whatever that combination would be, if you traveled 100 miles, that's what you're going to get in terms of a reimbursement from our office. You can see what the flat rate is if you're traveling between 151 and 300 miles, and then what it is if it's greater than 301 miles. There's nothing you need to complete or send to us to receive that reimbursement. You'll just get that from our office by the end of the month. And I always like to mention that we certainly aren't trying to say that reimbursement is going to cover all your costs, but it's certainly going to help defray some of those that you're going to incur over these next few days. Any questions on the reimbursement? How about anything else? Let's see what we've got and try to make everybody look, as comfortable as we can with only about 24 hours before we start playing ball in Champaign. Well, I'm going to send everybody a copy of this presentation. You can look at it at your leisure. If you have questions, I'll be around. With about one exception, I've got an esports meeting tomorrow from about 10 to 11. And then, but up until about 9:45, and then by 10:15, I'm here all day. So if you have questions or you want to reach out to me tonight, go ahead. My number was on the special instructions bulletin. It was in some other things, but I'm going to say it, and you can write it down and do with it what you will. I want to be available for you. I want it to be a great weekend for everybody. My number is 309 530-0915. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to say it again. You know what people do on the phone all the time? They're going to leave you their number and then they rush right through it. My number is 309-530-0915. 309-530-0915. Use it as much as you need. I want this to be a great weekend for everybody. I want you to feel comfortable. I know we're throwing a lot at you, but congratulations again. We'll see everybody in Champaign-Urbana at the State Farm Center. All right, I'm going to log off. Be good, everybody. I'll hang for another minute in case there's a question, but otherwise, you guys are free to go.
Hey, Kurt, I have a question for you.
I'm here. Yep.
I was just told that earlier today that if we play in the third and fourth place game, that we will not play in the same gym.
Well, you were told wrong.
So it's all in the same gymnasium.
It's all at the State Farm Center. Yep.
I think I was told that by somebody working at the ticket office is who told me that they said something about we couldn't order tickets for our second game at the same time as the first in the 100 level section because those tickets would be we would be in a different gym.
No, I think, well, they might have said that. I'm not.
They probably meant to
they
say a
couldn't
different
sell you the
section.
tickets. They couldn't. I believe they were not able to sell the second game 100 level tickets because they didn't know what session you would necessarily be playing in when you called or tried to do that today.
Okay.
But you will be in the same gym. You're playing
Okay.
both your games at the State Farm Center, right there where the U of I does.
Okay, sounds good.
Guaranteed.
Thank you.
Now there's probably gonna be a hole in the wall or something in the roof, and we have to move it. But other than that,
No, I
you're
got you.
playing in the
That's
State
fine.
Farm Center. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Be good. Safe travels.
Hello. Hello. Hey, where are you guys at right now? Okay. Stretch and stuff like that, and I will be out there as soon as I can. I just got a mess I'm dealing with, so I'll be out there as soon as I can. See you.
John, not back there? Yeah, she was saying, yeah, she's playing the State Farm at 7 o'clock. Hey, good. Hey, man, you make me nervous.